All right, we back. Let's run some more missions. Another time in the bottle. See if I can give you guys something I can recall. This is interesting. Okay. Downloading Outpost, fetching, loading, 17%. All right. Oh, hold on a second. What is this? When did I ever... It's kind of strange. Let's boom it. It's good. Throw out grenades. Maybe. All right. We're off the cards for now. We're going to try and... I'll try and share some stories. Some funny ones that I can remember. The ones that stick out to me about Grandpa. Let's see. It's a good one. So what about a time he was mad at me? How about that? That might be fun. Okay. So I was in college, and I hadn't drank before college. So the first time Whoa, this is trippy as hell, dude. So when I got there freshman year, I had met some people and had gotten a little too much in me for the first time. That's cool. Ha. That's cool. Oh, I thought I... Damn, Harv. So I was... It's important to know that I had started drinking and was having a ball with it, right? Hang on. Stand by, sorry. I'll get to it, I promise. Oh, that's bad. Shit, actually, I can bounce pretty far. Okay. We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way. Dang, dude. Alright, let me get the stuff, and then I can continue the story. Sorry, this was a little more intensive than I had pictured for something that looked this good. So I just started drinking, wasn't used to it, and my buddies had also been in the same building as I was living, and boy, this is interesting. So we had gone out, we had gotten pretty fucked up, and when we got back, one of my buddies had passed out, and of course there were a bunch of like markers and stuff around. It's important that this part is outlined, and you'll find out why my dad was so pissed. So our one friend in particular, Andy, had passed out first, and my other friend, Stinky, who had gotten that name from... Oh man, I thought I had... Come on, dog. Who'd gotten that name because he... as a swimmer back in my hometown, never washed his not his jockstrap, his Speedo, and it smelled. So he had that nickname forever, and you'd think it would bother the guy, and it really didn't. In fact, it never really bothered any of us. We got so used to saying it that when we introduced him to other people, people would be like, "What? Like, that's horrible." And he's like, "I don't care." And so they'd be like, "All right," and then they got it. So when we went to college, Stinky had tried to go back to Nick to kind of start over, and unfortunately he was housed by a bunch of people from our hometown, and we didn't let him... I can't get that last one, I don't think. Not that we didn't let him, but like we just knew him as Stinky for so long that that was his name. So Stinky had taken some permanent markers and was drawing on Andy. Got pretty much 90 to 95% of his face. He was shirtless, so the shoulders, everything got hit. Red and blue marker. And I wasn't touching the dude, right? Until the very end. Like the last little bit, I'm not even kidding you, there was like an inch, but they had asked like, "Hey, do you want to, and I was like, no, because I wanted to the next day be able to tell Andy like I didn't do anything to you, but they were having such a good time that I ended up joining in, unfortunately. And I regretted it, and I will tell you why. Okay. This is kind of more involved than I thought it would be. So he gets drawn on, right? And then I put a little bit, the last like inch, let's say, probably a little less than that, like above his eyebrow. Colored it in because it was, you know, it was funny. And then Stinky got some peanut butter, crunchy peanut butter that was in Andy's, his little makeshift pantry. I have no idea where that thing is, and it's freaking me out. Huh. Cool. And had put a little bit around his ears, and then like a couple nuts inside his ear, right? Andy's absolutely fucked up. And we used to joke, like, there's drunk, there's wasted, and then there's Andy drunk, which is beyond that, because he just gets smashed, you know? He really liked having a good time. Really nice dude. Super nice guy. And so he was pretty fucked up, and Stinky and a couple of my other friends, because it wasn't just Stinky there, it was like another friend from college that we had met or whatever, they took off. They were either going to continue drinking or go downstairs. I lived on the 3rd floor, and Stinky and Andy lived on the 1st floor, but Andy moved out of the 1st floor for either a bad roommate or some other reason, so he was up on my floor. So they went, I stayed up with him. Stayed up with this guy. Man. Wow. Where? Oh, above? Oh, that's cool. So I stayed up with him, right? He throws up in his bed. That is... How does that work? Oh, my gosh. That's crazy in there. Did you see that? But he throws up in his bed. I move him off. I change his sheets. He gets back on the bed. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm also drunk, but I wanted to make sure he was good to go, right? I thought a bomb was coming down here, and actually a bomb up there is terrifying. So I got him back on the bed, and he threw up. Oh, that is a bomb. That is a bomb. Oh. I'm just trying to figure out how he could make a splash. Splash here, so when it goes... Oh. No, that's just a thrower. Okay, where was I? He threw up on his bed. I changed the sheets. He got back on the bed. He threw up on the bed. Then I moved out his... Did I get... Oh, something died there. Then I pulled out his yoga mat and set that up for him, pulled him off the bed, lowered him on that, and he threw up on the yoga mat. After he threw up on it, he got up. I was like, oh God, he's awaking and he's going to be pissed. And he just got up, went to the bathroom in the middle of the floor. Not in the middle of his floor. There was a bathroom in the middle of our floor that he walked to and went in there, and I followed him to make sure he was good to go. And he got to the urinal, peed, and then when he went to wash his hands, he saw himself in the mirror, and I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to snap, dude. And he saw himself. He did not seem to know or care that I was there. I'm pretty sure he just he wasn't registering anything, but he was like, he stared at himself for way too long, and I really thought he was like broken for like probably 30 seconds because he was just in a state of like, what the hell? Nothing makes sense. And so, come on now. So he says, it's like, at first it's like, whoa. And then it's like, whoa. He's just saying this to himself. He's not saying this to anyone in particular. And I'm like, Andy, are you good? Completely ignores me, goes back to bed, and he seems fine. He sleeps on the floor. I give him a blanket. The yoga mat was his girlfriend's, I think. So that ended up being something else later on because he threw up all over that. But he goes back to bed. I get him down, and at this point, there's nothing left in his stomach. He's just like throwing up everything. So he's like, there's nothing he's gonna like aspirate, or I can't get this. I think he insulated me out pretty good. Yeah, maybe this. Yeah, I could probably get this. Oh yeah, very much so. And so I go back to my room. I tell my roommate, like, hey, watch out. Lock the door. Don't let Andy in tomorrow, just in case, right? And so, I don't know, 7 a.m. rolls around the next day. And I think I went back at like 1:30 a.m. So I hadn't been sleeping long, neither did Andy. And all of a sudden I started hearing like bang, bang, bang on my door. Like, get the fuck out here. I was like, oh shit. My roommate Chris was this little Filipino guy. Super nice dude. He's like, oh dude, this is bad, man. I'm like, yeah, well, I was gonna say I didn't do anything to him, but then I did a tiny bit. So I opened the door and he's like, "Did you put peanut butter in my ears?" And I'm like, "I did not. That was I did not." And he's like, "Did you draw on me?" And I was like, I'm like, "Listen, I swear, and this is the truth. I did say no, I didn't want to, but everyone was having a good time, you know. I wanted to get I just finished the last little bit that Stinky couldn't be bothered to do. I'm gonna bank this. So he punched me. I want to say in the chest. I don't think he hit me. I honestly can't remember. I know he hit me. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, now that you got it out, let me explain to you what happened. So I told him, like, hey, I stayed up with you, dude, like all night, making sure you were good. And literally like a minute into our conversation, he's like, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm like, it's fine, man. Like, I understand. And to be fair, I did color on you a little bit, but the majority was not me. And he's like, who did it? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you that either, dude, but I can just say it's not me. He's like, fucking Stinky. So I was like, I didn't say that. And I still, to this day, will tell you I did not. Not that not that it took much to blame Stinky. Most everyone went right to him because, you know, he's Stinky. But Andy was pissed at him, went downstairs. This is a whole long thing, and it's important to know all of what happened in the story because I pay for it way harder than everyone else does, despite, I think, being the least, not malicious, but whatever. So Andy goes downstairs and wants to get back at Stinky and steals his room key. But Stinky is like this hyper survivalistic, like he once caught 2 pigeons at a house party we went to. These girls whose apartment we were at had this problem with pigeons making a nest on their balcony, and Stinky's like, I can get rid of them. And this Stinky was, I'll say this, if you're ever trapped out in the forest or in some, I don't know, island, bring Stinky with you. The dude, he's just been outdoors his whole life, and he's like half feral to begin with. So he's like, I can get those for you. And they're like, what? And they honestly were just like, okay, you know, like joking. And he sat out there with a bucket and a string and baited his, I don't know what it was, but he ended up getting both. So probably, I want to say an hour later, maybe it was like 45 minutes. But he was out there with the bucket and string, and he came in, he's like, I got both, what do you want me to do with it? And the girls were like, what? And they couldn't believe it, and he showed them a little bit inside the bucket, and both of them in there. He's like, I had the first one within like 10 minutes, but I had to wait for the second one to get under there too. And I was like, this guy is fucking psycho, dude. But I knew him from my town, so like everyone else was like, yo, Joe, your friend is so just out there. And I'm like, yeah. But he got your pigeon, didn't he? Plural, I should say pigeons. And this is a cool, this is a lot. I'm sorry that I'm choosing to tell you a story on this one. This is like kind of cool outside of just doing the story thing. I'm gonna see if I can, oh yeah, that's, ooh, that was close, dog. Don't bomb me, bro. Hang on, let me just get this and then I'll... Oh, yeah, that's pretty good for that. It's, I did not get him, even though it bounced off him. Interesting. Okay, well. Oh, that sucks, dude. Bomb coming? No. So... Andy took his key, hit it, because they wanted to mess with Stinky. Stinky was on the first floor. Stinky immediately came upstairs. Where's my key? You know, and we're like, we don't know, man. We haven't seen it. And he's like, room K, room. He just kept pounding and saying over and over, room K. Loud enough that people were coming out of the rooms, because that's how Stinky handled his problems, is just get loud and obnoxious about it. And so eventually, we didn't give in. He went back down. He broke in through the window, or snuck in through the window. I can't remember his apartment, but somehow ended up getting the key back. And I didn't give it to him, and I honestly don't think Andy did either. So I think he just like took it upon himself to like try and find it where Andy had hit it. So that all happens, right? That transpires. They have their little whatever. Andy's pissed at Stinky, but made his life miserable for a short amount of time, and Stinky made his life miserable with permanent marker, by the way. I should add that the marker itself was red and blue permanent marker. So, like, even after Andy got it up, it was still like staining him. It was stupid. That's really why I didn't want to participate initially. Is it was just like too much. Of course I wanted to fuck with someone, but it was just, I didn't want to pay for that. Like, you know, him having like blue face and whatever. By the way, I still have a picture of this dude. I still have the picture of him colored in like an album somewhere. So you can see how bad he got hit. Even the peanut butter. And that'll be an album that you'll see at some point, I'm sure. Not until you're much older, because I don't want you seeing all the things I was as a young man. But fast forward. So some girls come to visit us from our hometown, and it's a girl named Styx. I don't know how she got her nickname. Dang, dude, sucks. Probably just because she was thin. I don't know. But she had a nickname because she hung out with the swimmers. Stinky was a swimmer. Obviously, that's, you know, the Speedo thing. She was coming down with two of her friends to visit her boyfriend, who was 2 states away from us. So I went to a school, or, you know, the school in my state that I grew up in. And then these guys were coming to visit us and then passing through, going to 2 states away. So they come in, we get super wasted. We have a good time. Everyone's having a blast. I need to get the stuff. That's right. Back out again. I do want to do this in 0 deaths, so that's part of this. That's going to be problematic, though. I'm going the wrong way. So we're all having a good time. We're drinking, and I black out, right? And I sleep, and I wake up sitting, and I'm moving, and I open my eyes, and I'm in the back left seat of a car. There is luggage and bags. Damn, I can't get this. This might be a problem, dude. I might have to zoom in there. There's luggage to my right in the middle of the seats, and I push that aside. There's a girl sleeping. Don't know her. Don't recognize her. I look to the front passenger. Don't know her. And I look to the drivers through the rear view mirror. She sees me. It Sticks. So I'm like, thank God I know somebody. I'm like, hey, she's like, hey, morning, sleepyhead, blah, blah, blah. The girl in the back starts to wake up. She's like, hey, what's going on? I have no idea who she is. I know that they came with Sticks. I don't remember either of them. I don't know. And they're like, how's it going? You know, like, I'm like, where are we going? And they're like, we're going to blah, 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 silly. And I'm like, no, we're not. I can't do that. And they're like, well, you said it was cool yesterday that, you know. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I wouldn't have said that, dude. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm moving out the next day. Like, they stopped in to say what's up, but we were starting to move out of the apartments, or whatever you want to call them, the dorm rooms. And my dad was coming, and I was like, oh my God, dude, where are we? We were in the state between. They had been driving all night. Sticks didn't drink. Her 2 friends did, and I did. And I'm like, how long are we here? And she's like, just for 2 days. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like freaking out because my dad's coming. I'm not gonna be ready for him. He's gonna lose his shit. I gotta start getting stuff. Can I get some backfires? That'd be cool. I only got a bomb back, though. That's not great. Alright. Whoop. Whoop. Yikes. Yikers. Ow. Good God, dude. This is kind of like the geometry here is nuts. How about this? Oh, baby. Good stuff. Oh, yeah. That's a dub. We call a dub in the business. Did I get him? No, I don't think so. Got the bomb back. Ow. Maybe like that, and then not quite. I think I need like a bigger boom radius or something. Like off the top like that. Yes, dude. Physics, baby, for the win. So Six is like, hey, she was going to watch her boyfriend do some like track or something. And right, I gotta get all my stuff back. Cool. That's good. Good. So we were literally going to the state to like watch her boyfriend run track or whatever the hell it was. And I was like, this sucks. It was super hot there. I'm trying to coordinate with my dad. I'm trying to get all my shit out. He's not coming up for like another day, but they got to move out. Like we got to get going. And so I called up Andy and Stinky and they're like laughing, you know, they're like, oh my God, dude. And I'm like, bro, what the hell happened? They're like, basically what it came down to is I jokingly was like, oh, you know, it'd be cool to hang with you guys, blah, blah, the two girls that Six brought. And, or they were like, well, you should come with us. And I was like, no, I can't. And then Andy and Stinky, were like, yeah, Joe, come down. We'll take care of everything here. Because I was like, nah, I'm gonna move out. That's what they said. And they were like, well, we'll get your shit moving. So when I called them, they were in my apartment moving all my stuff out down to the first floor. And I'm like, that's not gonna work. Like, my dad's coming still. And they're like, it's cool. We got, Stinky's sister lived on outside of campus, but I like had a house. And I don't need to do this. I just need to go. And she had a pickup truck. And so they had gotten a pickup truck and they were moving all my stuff out and taking it to her house so I didn't lose everything. But like there was a bunch of stuff like a shelf and a cabinet that they couldn't get out, so they threw out the window to try and like into the into the pickup truck, and it shattered, or at least that's what they said. Let's be honest. What actually happened was oh hell no. What actually happened is they like threw it out, it broke because they didn't want to fucking take it down the steps, right? That was like their extra or whatever. Andy's like, good, I got Joe back for coloring on me. Stinky's like, I got Joe back for taking my key, even though I was a secondary person in both of these scenarios. To be fair, I'd done other things to them. This was honestly everything. What is it mostly? I think it's this. So I go down there, I watch, we're in a hotel. I'm like miserable, dude. I'm not good company because I'm pissed off. And my dad calls and he's like, hey, I'm heading down. I'm like, hey, change of plans. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I had this thing at the college. It was like this event. They took us off site and I won't be back, you know, get my stuff until whatever. Let's say it was Friday. It's like Sunday or Monday. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Like they know it's moving out. He's just new. It's like, this doesn't, and I'm trying my best as a stupid 19-year-old to like come up with a lie that's believable. And I'm like, you just can't. And so can you come at this day? And he's like, Joe, this is weird, dude. Like, what's going on? I'm like, that's just what it is. I didn't want to tell him that I was put into a car and drove 2 states away for coloring an inch on someone's like eyebrow. Yeah. Oh, this is a new one, right? And we were messing with each other so much that you know, there was many things, but those girls really regretted asking me coming along because I think they were like, they had met fun Joe and this was like stressed out Joe, and so I was not good company. Ooh, this is weird. What is this, dude? What? It's just a bunny hop? I mean, this gets people for sure. Ah, I see now. I just blew up a bunch, to be fair. I don't think I got anything on that. I'm better off using these, though, I realize. Does that go through? It's kind of interesting. You get out there, and then I think it activates, and you try and back up, and the lasers go right through these, maybe? Definitely didn't insulate, though, right? No, sir. So I just got to play slow and steady. So I'm telling Grandpa, hey, you can't come, and he's like, I'm coming, dude. I'm already like on my way. The ride there was like, you had to take a train normally And he was driving, so I want to say it was like, I'm just going to say like 6 or 7 hours or something. And, man, this gets loud, huh? Close call. Not enough, though. About that. Got him. Whoa, why is everything louder? Hold on. Okay, I tapped my volume. So he's like, I'm coming. I'm like, oh, please don't. And I'm down there. It's hot. We finally get back. I forget that on the way down, I am not wearing a seatbelt because I'm like trying to air out. I have the window down. I'm hungover, whatever. We get pulled over. She gets a ticket, which sucks because now I've like really just made this whole thing awful for everybody, to be fair. I did not get it, dude. I got to blow that up regular style, I think. It's just giving me so much pressure. What? I was gonna say, I thought I shot that, but you saw me shoot that. There were witnesses. So... Oh my god. That almost happened. Itching my eyebrow, almost blew myself up. So... My dad gets down there. I'm in a mad hustle. I have to, I tell the girls, like, can we, you know, if they're leaving this day at like 11, I'm like, can we leave at 9? You know, something like that. So I get there. My dad, okay. This is gonna suck pretty bad, I think. Now I can... Okay, that was... I expected a lot more behind that. So he comes down and it's like, where's your bike? So I'd gotten a bike to like get across campus. That was gone. The lock got cut. Someone stole it in my absence. And I was like, oh... I donated it. He's like, to where? And I'm like, there's like needy students. It's like, this... Where's the bike? And I'm like... It's with needy students. I just kept repeating it because I was like, dude, I'm so screwed right now. And he's like, where's your stuff? I'm like, we put it at a friend's house because we knew they were moving out. And if I was going to do this like event, you know, this is a cool idea, but you know, it can be picked. Probably that and that, maybe. It could be. Yeah, I think that's more accurate. He's like, Joe, none of this makes sense. He knew I was full of shit, but he just couldn't. He knew I wasn't going to get it out of me. And so he just went along with it. But he's getting really frustrated, you know? Understandably, I just like ruined everything for a bunch of people. The girls, I ruined everything except for the 2 people who probably deserved the least amount of, you know, fun, considering all the stuff we were doing messing with each other. And... I was like, it's at Stinky's sister's house. He's like, why? And I'm like, it's, you know, I staged it there because they were clearing out we had to be out of the dorms and I wanted to go to this event, this, you know, college-sponsored event that would further my academic learning. And so we get there and, you know, we put everything together when we got to the dorm room. And so he knew everything was in there. And he's like, after we were loading stuff up, he's like, where's the cabinet and the shelf? And I'm like, it broke apart when I tried to get it down the stairs. He's like, dude, can you just tell me what's going on? And I, you know, as a kid, you're like, no, absolutely not. You're gonna lose your shit if you find out I got too drunk and allowed myself to be taken 2 states away, which is crazy. You know, if you're watching this from another, oh, you know, if that sound hadn't happened, I never would have looked there, which is kind of crazy. Because this little cut, you'd think would, I don't know. So I wasn't going to tell him, even though he knew what was up. This feels like a secondary, maybe not, It's weird though. Very weird. All right, fair enough. So, he actually didn't... Yeah, I just had to, I think. This is cool. Just one simple trick. Oh, it didn't quite get that one, huh? Okay. Ooh, there's another... Oh, okay. Little buster. Let's do that, because we can recover those both. I should have bounced it more so it came back down, I think, but it'll be fine. What am I hearing? Someone's close. And it takes care of that. God, booms are so good, dude. I forgot. So good. I'm thinking... that, and then I can get everything on that side, maybe? Right. So he's really... so anyway, Spike got taken, and then he's like, you know, where's the bike? And I'm like... Oh, no, that was donated. That's right. That happened then after we got my stuff, because that was the final part. So when we figured out where the bike went, that's what set him off. And he's like, where's the bike? And I'm like, I donated it to needy students. And he's like, what does that even mean? I'm like, it's, you know, or where is that or whatever. And I said, needy. I just kept repeating. I'm like, it's with needy students through the college. And he didn't buy it. And we had like probably our first big, that was, does that, I was going to say, does it blow up before it impacts? I guess it doesn't. And can I get that? Probably. Oh, that's really annoying. That's okay though. We got to get a bunch of other stuff too. Your grandpa was really pissed, and I never did tell him what happened and all the things that led up to that, but I will say it wasn't, I don't know, that one really, I didn't really consider that one on me necessarily. That was like some weird, it was really an opportunity meets some revenge, but like the level of revenge was so severe that even afterwards it was like, hey, really sorry about that. And you're like, yeah, you should be. That was fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, what an absolutely asymmetrical response to like, and truly being the only one that cared, like took care of him. Because generally speaking, I wasn't that type of person. Like, it wasn't like, oh, Joe's, you know. It was one of those rare moments where he was so wasted. And even though I was drunk, I knew, what was that? Oh. I knew that it would be, I genuinely thought he might drown in his own, and he did. He didn't drown, but he did throw up, you know, 3 times. And I'm just thinking, like, if he had, I don't know. I don't want to think about that, but it worked out. So, you know, I tried to do the right thing. But you know, it goes to show you, if I had just been able to say I didn't do anything, he would have moved on, and he definitely would have blocked Stinky from doing it. But he never really got me back for it. And, so, you know, he wanted to... Where? Oh, I did not see you, my man. Alright. I got a Phoenix kit, so... Alright, now we're getting some juice back. Oh, I thought maybe that would blow that up, but... So anyways, that was one time. He got really, really mad at me. It was pretty rare. Another time was I had just turned 16, I think. Or around there in. Yeah, early on driving, like real early. It must have been around the time one of the Jackass movies had come out. And I was home alone. I think, yes, your grandparents had gone out to dinner. And my friends and I had gotten the idea to get in my Oldsmobile, Cutlass Oldsmobile. The Phantom. It was black. It was awesome, dude. It was cush. The cushions were so nice. It sucks that, you know, cars became more safe and less luxurious. But it's the way she goes. And we decided we want to make like a Jackass video. And so I, very stupidly, took it down like it was super late at night. Probably not super late. It was probably like 7 or 8 at night. Enough that it was like the sun was just going down. We got in the car and it was dark by the time we ended our trip. And I had driven down a bike path. We were recording it, and later on found out that we had the lens cap on the entire time, so we got none of it, which was awesome considering what followed. But we drove out of this bike path, and then we went, there was like a park nearby this bike path that went through a forest, and because it was all connected. And I flew out of there like took a little ramp because it was a slight incline coming out. And we got like maybe, I don't know, 6 inches of air, which isn't a lot, but enough to like come down and bounce the suspension. So I was just being a complete jerk. And the reason I say that is like, here someone's trusting you with a car, and you know, you're being dangerous with it, and you're not appreciating it. More importantly, you know, not everyone gets that. And so, even though it was an old like beater, it's still like I look back and go, come on, dude, like. But, you know, I didn't know better. Anyways, so I drove out of there. There was a soccer goal, and... Oh, that would have been bad, actually. And... Hang on, something's texting. So I went out, and there were soccer goals. We were like, let's go through the soccer goals. We were, like, giving each other points. You know, like, you just got 10 points for making that turn, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so the goalposts were like 10 points, you know, pretending like, oh yeah, you did have something down there, you little something or other. And so we go through the goalposts, the first set on the soccer field, and it has the net still in it. Couldn't see it in the dark, and it rips off my windshield wipers, just rips them right off. And I was like, fuck, you know, but at this point, I'm already in for I know this isn't the term, and you guys can correct me because it's funny. In for an inch, out for a pound, but that's 2 units of measurement. But you know what I mean? I was already all in, and I was like, fuck it, you know, and we're recording. I didn't want to ruin the video. I really thought we could, because we had a fun group. And so, you know, we were like, could we do the Jackass thing? And it's like, maybe. We did try. We did a whole bunch of stuff, but it would never we wouldn't have had the charisma or, like, ideas. We were just, you did not think this out, my man. Not at all. But that's okay, because I think these are now expended, and you didn't activate those, so you're good. That's why if you're on something, stay on it, because if you go to this one, now you got this to deal with, or you know, whatever. So let's be very careful of that. Really, if any of these were explodies, that would have killed me. 100. Let's clear an area. I'm a little bit hesitant to drop a bomb in here because I don't want to make a mistake like I almost just did. This is good here. Okay, so the radius isn't quite there. That's good. You sent in a couple guys after this. This is it's a hell of a box. So anyways, I'm already in, right? I ripped off one net, and the one across the field is there. So I take that, thinking, you know, nothing's going to come of that. I go through that, and it rips my side view mirror off. And I'm like, sweet, you've effectively ruined this car, and there's no way people aren't going to know about it. And so then we went out into the street, and there were trash cans, and so we were, you know, trying to knock those down. And there's nothing else in here, I don't think. And just being jerks, you know? So anyways... it's worth noting that this was around fall or beginning of winter. And so I get back to the house, and everyone goes home. I'm in bed, and my friend, actually, you know, Uncle Rob, lived like 4 or 5 houses down, and he called me up, and he's like, hey, there's a cop outside your house. And I'm like, oh, no. And so I am in my boxer briefs, and I sneak out the back door and around the side to see what he's, you know, looking at. He's looking at the car. He's got the flashlight, and he's checking out the damage. And it's worth noting also that after I went through the soccer goals, I had landed back on the parking lot that attached to it, and there was a car with 3 people in it, 1 girl, 2 guys from our school, and they were smoking weed out there, you know, having a little session. And knew it was up because it couldn't be. And so we had stopped and said what's up to him and went on our way. And then we, you know, hit a couple trash cans, went home, and I went to bed, and that's when I got the call. So the Policeman shows up, does, you know, he's got the flashlight. I sneak out the back. I'm in my box briefs. It's cold as hell, dude. So cold. But I want to see what he's doing, what he's looking at. And I'm around the corner. I'm just barely peeking my eye out. And, okay, what happened with this? Is there more now? Or did I bypass it? I did. He moves the flashlight right on me. And he's like, come on out here. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm freezing. No clothes. It's like, you the one driving this tonight? It's like, no. And it's like, where'd you get all this damage? And I'm like, I have no idea. I just noticed it, you know? Just being a jerk because I was terrified that I was going to be in trouble. And I knew if you keep your mouth shut, that's generally your best bet in 99% of the cases. And which I chose not to do, as you will soon realize. And he's like, yo, we got you. You know, we know you did this. We know you did that. You were in the car. We know there were multiple people with you. And I'm like, it was just me. And what was that? That was brutal. And it was a good time. I just said it was me. And because there's no point. I also knew, I know it sucked. And it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'll never, you know, narc or anything. It was more like, I know that it's not going to matter. Like, I'm in trouble. I'm the driver. There's no sense taking anyone else. I mean, what, you know? So I was like, no, it's not. And he's like, I know for a fact there were people in there. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I got no one in there. It was me. I was just being a jerk. And right then I just admitted to everything. I was like, you know, it was me. Stupid. But I was a young kid. And you know, I'm glad they caught me. It was a shitty thing, and it could have gone way worse. But Grandma and Grandpa are out for dinner. Keep that in mind. They're, you know, first date night in probably months, and I chose to do this with, you know, while they were gone. And so he's like, I want you to know that I know more than you think I do. So you tell me why I'm here. And I'm like, have to do with the car. And he's like, correct. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, where'd your windshield wipers go? Where's your side mirror? I'm like, I didn't have them. He's like, you were driving around without windshield wipers and a side view mirror? Because that's illegal. And I'm like, so I'm, you know, he's starting to get me up because this guy deals with people lying to him all day long. Like, what, you know, I don't know what I was thinking I could, you know, I should have just been like, sorry, no, I don't, you know, just kept saying it. If I want to be a jerk and get away with it, which again, in this case, I'm glad I didn't. It's one of those things that I had coming and it could have gone way worse. But the cop was like, all right, start at the beginning. And I was just like, all right, well, it started driving down the bike path and, you know, his eyes get a little wide and I'm like, oh, fuck. You know, you can tell when you're like, well, he wasn't talking about that. And so I was like, oh, the cat's out of the bag. And then he's like, all right, continue. And I'm like, and then I drove through the, you know, the soccer goals and ripped the nets down. And that's, you know, I took some damage. And he's like, okay, is that it? And I'm like, and then I hit some trash cans. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. We were, you know, we thought we could make a funny video. And he's like, oh, you got it on video. And I'm like, no, I thought we could, but we couldn't find a camera. I was like, thank God I thought of that at least. Because in my mind, I'm like, sick. We got this sweet. Oh, this is going to be a bad exit one. I shouldn't have used my Phoenix. I should have waited. That's why you wait until you see the first rooms. Yeah. This is 100% a double. All right. Well, we know what we're dealing with. Oh shit! Yeah. Darn. Uh-oh, wait. That might... Oh, no. Actually made it worse for myself, huh? Oh my... Whoa! Alright, this is definitely easily beatable once you know it. So... He has me drive to all the spots that I hit up. Let me just think. It's definitely this. I do still think it's Booms. Yeah, I think that's probably... I didn't check what was behind the gen mat. That's the only thing I wish I had done, but maybe I can do it this time. It's cool, though. It's a cool exit one, believe it or not. It's kind of fun. So I went to all those things, all the spots, drove down the bike path. He saw there was like some tracks that went off like the small asphalt thing where we had taken a curve, so that like proved that. And then we went through the soccer goals. The nets were ripped from the first one and then pulled completely off from the second. And my windshield wipers we found, which is cool. They were completely useless, but we did find them. And then we went and like the trash cans sucked because I had to clean all that up, and you know what you get. And but there were like diapers and stuff on the, and it was, and by the way, when we were driving to all these things, I was still in my boxer briefs in the back. He would not let me get clothes. All right, let me think here. All right, so it's this first and then that, I think. Oh, yep, I should have blown through there, huh? Oh, now I'm kind of fucked, aren't I? Oh, I didn't get the bomb off, dude. Oh, no. Dang. If I'd gotten that first bomb off. All right, we know what we're doing here. So he's like, dude, we got to go to the station, man. Like, this is way too much. I thought someone just said you were driving through the soccer field with the car. And I'm like, well, Joe, you big fucking idiot. That's what you get. So I was like, what the hell? Like, there was no one anywhere near us. Like, there really weren't. And what is that for, do you think? Is that a glitch or something? Was that there last time? I can't even remember. What is back here? Did I ever find... Oh, it's just nothing. It's like... Yeah. So that doesn't matter. Right. Okay. All right. I gotta be careful now. Alright. We'll walk it down. Do that. So I was down at the sheriff's office and he's like, do you want to call your parents? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, I can't release you because of your age or something. I don't even remember what it was. Like, I needed to be, like, relinquished or something. I don't remember. Whatever the case was, he wouldn't let me not call my parents. And I was like, well, you know, I forgot their number. And he's like, you're here, dude, until you call them. Basically, it's not going away. I was like, man, I just really want it to go away. And, so I finally called home, my home phone, landline. It's just like a static line that's always in your house. They suck, by the way. Eventually it was just like, okay. You have to think about this a little bit more, my friend. You got to do some like weird stuff. And then you can get that back. So I call up home. It's my it's your aunt, and I'm like, hey, I need to come home. I think it was my sister. I don't think they released me on my own. And I got out of there. It wasn't my parents that got me. And I wonder what that blew up. If any... Oh, man, I didn't get any of those, though, down low. Shoot. There's a rope here. I gotta get that. Where's that rope at? Let me think just real quick, and then I'll continue the story. Kind of... Oh, okay. Yeah. So you can get those back. Slow, but you'll get there. Okay. At least you got a plan. So I get home, and my parents come in the door, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table. Your grandparents, I'm just going to tell it from my perspective, otherwise it's too hard for me to bounce back and forth. I know you understand from the future. Thank you. So they come in, and they're like, hey, I'm like, hey, how'd your, dinner go? And they're like, great. How's everything here? And I'm like, you got to call the sheriff. And I don't remember how fast it happened, but I remember my head swung completely, and I was in a ton of pain. And I looked up, and your grandfather was very not happy, and I think that was the maddest I ever got him. And he really was like, the thing that pisses me off the most about it is how dangerous it, like, what if some kid had been walking down the bike path, dude, like walking their dog, you know, and you just decided you were going to do the stupid thing. Unbelievable, dude. The timing is comical. The timing is so funny on that one, dude. I can't believe that drop. I just stayed too long. That's what it is. All right, but now it's a little bit tougher, gotta say. All right, we're getting him slowly. That was the angriest I ever made him, and he was really just pissed off that I had been so disrespectful of really what was a pretty generous thing. I forget that laser's there. That's what got me last time. I'll be honest, I didn't see that one. Yeah, maybe that's not as funny. Sorry. I'm trying to think of the good end, and kind of that was probably the moment he was most upset at me. And I think when you consider all of the things I did, he'd probably agree that it's fairly light. I remember looking up and be like, he's gonna kill me. Like, I could see it in his eyes, like he had open hand slapped me, and it worked. I mean, I definitely never did something like that ever again. What was that? That was this, and it was fun. I never did something like that again. And really it was oh, 18, wow. It was putting people in danger for something stupid that. And so the worst part about it, and I probably should have left it at the end, was that the lens cap was on. So when I was like, oh, at least we got the video. No, we didn't. I was enraged, dude. Because I had just gone, I had taken all that heat. And oh my God, the community service, which, you know what, by the way, silver lining, I had to do a bunch of community service for that, among other things. And I want to say it was 500 hours. The judge nailed me. And actually another judge nailed me later on for the senior prank I did, for even worse, which is more ridiculous. But you had to do a certain amount of volunteering for high school to get through it. And so there was already some of that on the side. So this was assigned to me in addition to that. And what I had was a girl I was talking to. Her sister was I think the family had connections to the Special Olympics. Yeah. And it was either a family member or someone close to them. And they were like, hey, you should volunteer at the... What's one of these at? Let me check this out. Hell yeah, dude. Oh. Nice. Then I'll go get these later, I think. I'm down low. So I had to do the community service. I signed up for the Special Olympics through that girl's family, and I showed up and I reffed the bocce ball event, and that ended up being like one of my favorite core memories. The Special Olympics it's dope, dude. Like, I know you may have preconceived notions, but I don't know, man. There's something cool about, they just had such good attitudes. Everybody there had such a good positive attitude that you really were like, this is how you live, straight up. You just appreciate shit. Here are people who already have it kind of difficult, and they're having a ball. Like, that's nothing stopping them, and they suck. You know, some of them are terrible, and you know, competing in this thing, and they're having such a blast that you realize, like, no, they're completely winning. You know, they're winning everything right now, and it really changed my perspective as a young person. And you know, it's weird to think that, you know, court ordered community service, I guess in your own head you're like, well, it never fixes anything, like doing this stuff, like who cares, you know, community service. And I guess I kind of felt that way, and so I was like, well, I'm not gonna learn anything, you know, I'm just doing this because you're making me, like, and the more you make me do something, the more I don't want to do it, frankly. That's cool. As like a little follow-up, I like that. Okay, don't nod and get blown up, please. And you still got it. It changed my entire perspective on it. So inadvertently, you know, hitting a few trash cans and then going back and cleaning up the trash, and it including baby diapers, which, you know what, totally poetic justice for me, being a little shitbag myself. I think it's more than more than fair, but it was kind of cool. It out of that, you know, poor decision was really a nice little reminder of how lucky you got, like how that, and it also made me appreciate, you know, the fact they even let me use the car at 16, where like there were people that just don't. Some families don't have them at all, like any car, you know. And I knew this was, but it's funny seeing them go into the blank. I don't know. Is this? That's after. Oh, okay. Got it. Well, I probably can get away with not using a resurrect if I have to do this again, so be all right. Yeah, so the most angry he ever was also a time that probably benefited me. And if you haven't learned by now, learn the hard ways. Pretty much how I lived my whole life. And never really learned a way that worked better. I can't always listen to, unfortunately, what other people tell me. And maybe you'll be the same. I don't know. We'll have to see as you get older. But the more people wanted me to do stuff, the more I resisted it. And the more people kept me from things, the more I was interested in it. And it's kind of a weird thing that I probably associate with, like, someone who is low intelligence as far as maybe emotional or maybe all. I don't know. It's some of those things where it's like, this benefits you, dude. Like, to just, and you're like, I don't care. I want to do it my way. And I think in your head, you're like, it's strong, you know, like, it's steadfast, you know, you're stubborn, you know, which is a nice way of saying maybe you hang on to things way longer than you should and exert too much effort on it, which is kind of funny that some people take it as a compliment, and I do, which is even funnier. I know that, and I still take it as a compliment. And I think you think that doing your own way and resisting is strength, but it kind of shows the weakness, I think, of how you are still caring about people's opinions in a different way. Instead of being like, well, I want to do it my own way, I don't want to do it your way, they're making you do it a different way anyways, because you're doing the opposite. You're just doing it, you know, in the opposite direction. And it's funny that I, for so long, thought, no, I know myself best, which is absolutely wrong and not true. And I think I got even my, yeah, that's homework. You too, then? Is that everybody? It's cool. I do like this. It's a dope room. This is, I feel like, someone's first fun build that they make a little bit, where it's, you just do it because it looks cool, you know? And it does. Or maybe you don't. Maybe this is like, you know, you see that flowchart, not flowchart, what do they call that? The bell curve, where it's like the ridiculously low intelligent options here, and then the mid is here, and then the geniuses have the same opinion as this, like these are the same and the middle is different. I wonder if, like, once you get to a point where you've like mastered all the drops and the timings on oh buddy, that was too bad my reflexes are good, because that was good. Felt it. I was like, if you don't get this exactly right, you're dead. And I really, towards the end of it, was like, you're dead. I didn't think I got it. But yeah, you know, my life would have been a lot easier if I was able to just listen to other people's you know, mistakes and stories instead of not giving a shit and trying to write my own all the time. And I think there's something to be said for that. That I wonder. Seem like this is super this. If there is something to that. And at the same time, though, you learn other methods, I guess, by doing things the hard way. And you start to, if you're successful, maybe you rely on yourself a little bit more. You're a little more confident. Who knows? I just know I've made my life, what's the word? Unnecessarily tougher a majority of my life, when really it could have been way easier, but I was just like, no. And it's fun to laugh at now, and I'm glad things mostly worked out, you know? But I think that doesn't always happen, and so you should be careful. I should stop. I'm sorry. I've been talking, and I just realized it's been an hour. Have I been talking for a full hour? Dang, dude. Well, I'm sure you boys will like maybe these stories at some point, I hope. I would have loved to have heard my dad tell stories about his dad. The stories he did tell, I wish I had recorded, because they were so fun. People would always say that, you know, a lot of people with your grandpa's stories and stuff, a lot of people wanted to record them. And he was extremely resistant to being recorded, both in pictures, not so much pictures, in videos he did not like. And I don't know why. Maybe because the way he told stories was so natural that if you forced it, he probably didn't feel he could do it right. And I believe that a little bit. I think that's actually the case. Oh, okay. This is an after. This feels very after to me. Hang on. Something is fishy. Wait, maybe not. It's just like a... Oh, this is like an actual compound. So that's... Okay. It's supposed to look like something. That's why things look different to me. I understand now. My bad. I think. But yeah, he didn't really... we'd try and catch him here and there. This is so weird, dude. I think I know what's coming, but... Still. Gotta be careful with this, because if it's angled wrong and you don't get the right angle, then you'll... Alright. Worry about that. That's pretty... Oh boy, alright, we're dealing with someone pretty good. You don't do that accidentally, I don't think. So now I'm on high alert. Yeah, he resisted that, and I would have loved to have had them. He had a bunch. I'll try and think of... One he used to tell was about this guy named Ski King. And it was on a lake. I'm going to not do it justice, but I'll just give you the gist. They were all at this lake, and they were on this side shore. And it was one of those lakes that was fairly large and public. So there was a lot of activity going on. And they had a lot of cool things set up, like, you know, ramps and whatever for skiers and all of that. And it had like a big crowd of young people. And... your grandpa, I believe it was around the college years, was off with his friends on the side, on the shore. And there was a guy on the dock in skis with a coiled rope and a jet, not a jet boat, a motorboat, powerboat, like getting ready to go. But it was only about 20 feet from the dock, maybe less, 10. And my dad was like looking at his buddies, all of which I think were in the sciences, studying those various sciences. Not that it's necessary to know this, but that if they dry start from the dock and the boat goes off, when that uncoils, as soon as it snaps, it's going to rip his arms off or fling him or whatever. You shouldn't start like that. You know, it's when you pull out of the water as a skier, it's a gradual thing. You know, if you do it too hard, I don't know. So anyways, they're watching this guy and they're like, is he going to do this? And because they're, you know, the guys in the boat are turning around asking if he's ready to go, you know, gives him the thumbs up. And this guy goes, "Let it happen, Captain." And the boat goes forward. They're watching the slack unwind really fast, and once it hits, it rips him off that dock and slams him in the water. And they always refer to him as Ski King. And oh, I think that's what it was actually. The driver, see, this is his story, not mine. The driver had said, "You ready, Ski King?" And then the guy said, "Let it happen, Captain," and it just ripped him off the dock immediately. He's like, we were all like, "Oh my God, is he dead?" But it was a pretty funny story, and he loved telling that one, man. That would have been cool if I could have backed him into that. I gotta remember this guy's smart. I keep forgetting that. Probably shouldn't be wandering around like this. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. Still think this is gonna transform as well. I think I'm on the ass end. If there's something behind the other... Ooh, where's my other bolt? Crap. He loved that one. He loved when the different dorm rooms in his college would... They'd, like, raid each other. Or, like, everyone would run in and, like, bum rush everyone and, like, slam them down and, like, push them around and, like, knock the stuff off their shelves and all that stuff. And, my dad had a friend, I don't know his name, who was in his room who was a big dude, like, just linebacker build. And when this opposing building had, like, rushed theirs, you just make sure, yeah, I just want to clear everything with this guy, because he is giving me weird vibes all the way. I genuinely think this is a two-way still. Just with these long, this is weird. So when they raided their building, they were getting, like, pushed up the floors. Like, they'd put chairs in the stairway as they'd, like, try and, like, push in, like, full riot. And they made their way to either the second or third floor, and they were getting ready to, like, lower a rope or sheets out the second floor to get out. That's, like, I guess they, like, really mess each other up. Like, no one, like, stabbed anyone, but they beat each other up when they go to these buildings. And they had cornered my dad, who's a smaller, thinner build dude. And... I guess they had rushed the room and all his friends were in there, and this friend that was like a linebacker was also in there, but they had jumped on my dad, and then my dad pretended to be one of them and say, "Get the big guy." And he said it worked. All the dudes like got off of him and started, and the guy who was in the room with him, the big dude, the linebacker, like knew it was my dad's voice, because he was either next door or in that same room. Like, it was either 4-door room or he was in the next one over. And he said, first of all, they went after him. He just started throwing people, and then my dad said he wouldn't punch. He'd like bring his hand down, like, say, picture yourself slamming your fist on a desk. That's how he punched people. So he said he wouldn't punch. He just clubbed people with his hands. I just think that visual every time makes me laugh so hard. But so anyways, that guy starts getting dogpiled by the other dudes who, oh wow, yeah, you are advanced, my friend. Really good. This is even a good, and it looks good too, dude. You know what's funny is I made this setup, I think, in either Lava Caca or no, Clear Lake. And he still, after that all went down, his friend was like, I know it was you. I heard your voice say get the big guy. He loved telling that story. What else? There's a bunch to, oh yeah. No, there's something, no, I was wrong. Unless this goes down, which it can't. It has to be open now. Yeah. I didn't even need that, huh? Oh well. Rather have it, not eat it, right? Told you he's good. And I knew about that one. Wow. All reflex, man. Holy, and oh man, he's trapping the way out. This is gonna be fun, dude. Who is this guy? How do I check that again? Right Nighter? First of all, great name. Yeah, you love that. Love that stuff. I'm gonna end this after this one. It's been an hour. Hopefully you boys, that's kind of what you're looking for. He had a lot of good stories. He was fun as hell to listen to. Everyone liked listening to him. Just a good storyteller. I'm trying to think. It's amazing how many people at the funeral talked about your grandfather that way. It was fun to hear them all say, because when you're around something, you get used to it, I think, at times, or you don't appreciate it as much. And hearing him all, you're like, oh yeah, you know, you always enjoyed, like, when he talked. It was just always fun. So I'll try and think of others as they come along, but there were his staples that he loved. Ski King went away for a while because I had heard it. They probably was like, I'm not going to torture these guys anymore, even though it was how he told it. Is everyone would say he'd do something with his eyes, like, and I get it now. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it. It's like he's so into the story that it's like his eyeballs themselves kind of like not shimmer, but they have like just a little extra, I want to say lubricant, but that sounds so stupid. But like they'd sparkle, I guess, a little bit. And if he was really enjoying himself, I wonder if that's why some of it, you know, they liked listening to stories, because he was getting such a kick out of it that and he was such a fun person this is weirding me out, dude, to listen to, that sometimes the story didn't matter so much as it was fun watching him because he genuinely enjoyed life. And I think that's probably something. This is an incredible base, by the way. I'm really glad I did one more. I know it's long as hell for this video, but I don't care. This was really cool. Oh man, I don't even know what to give this one, dude. Right Nighter? Is that... Uh-oh. Gonna soft lock me? It's kind of picturesque, right? Kind of meant to be. But also pulls help pulls. Oh, okay. This, I think, and this, yeah. Smart, looks good. This just hurts, and this is just fun. Yeah, it's these two. Yeah. So I'll try and think of more stuff. If I do, I'll leave it here for you guys in the future.